Tell us where we start.
Go.
We start? We're on?
Hello.
Hello, my Periscope fam. I am so excited. I'm sitting here with my sister. Oh my God, she is an awesome woman of God, and she allowed me the opportunity to come and share this platform with her today at the TBN studio here in Mobile. And this is the after show.
Yeah, we're so excited. It was so good. We were like, we gotta roll tape. Somebody roll something. So we were rolling, and because the conversation has been so dynamic, talking about the place of God and what He's doing. So, and you told me the story about Cora and the door. So we got it. Let's start there, because I just, that kind of did something for me.
I remember the woman of God. She said that she was in a situation where she was looking for her father's room, and she was so used to the big doors, the room behind the big doors. And so this time she had the room number, and she was going looking for the door. And when she got to the door, she was like, "This is not the door that I'm used to.
This ain't my daddy's door.
This ain't my daddy's door. It's too small."
Yeah.
But when the door opened, it was a big room behind a small door. And so that led a conversation to say, the Bible said, "Despise not the days of small beginnings." And so sometimes we're looking at things that seems to be insignificant or like it's a small door, but it's not a small door. It leads to something bigger. It leads to something greater. And so the conversation was, whatever door God opened for you, walk through the door, because you don't know what's behind the door. And so we'll miss it because we're looking for something else.
We're looking for something else, and a lot of times we're looking for what somebody else has.
Yes.
We're looking to make
Yes.
it. We're wanting our assignment to look like what somebody else's assignment was. Well, God made my assignment different from yours. He made my place and my road different from somebody else's. So I don't have to try to duplicate what you have, because He already gave me my own road. My door is different. My door looked like TBN.
Yes.
But
my journey is different.
It's different.
It's different. And the thing that I tell people, and it's also in my book, get my book, go to my website, y'all, get my book. Free plug. But the thing that the Lord told me, He said, listen, I don't anoint carbon copies. I anoint originals. So you have to be original in what God has called you to do. Do it the way He tells you. Don't try to mimic someone else, because it never works. You know, and so this woman of God, she's an awesome host. There's so much that I can learn from just being in her presence. She's been doing this for so long. So I'm sitting here like I'm forever a student. And I told her, I said, you are phenomenal. I'm learning, because I believe God has opened up doors for me for television. But guess what? I'm learning. I'm sitting here like, sis, oh my God, do it.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're preaching. No, we're doing, this is a talk show, okay? And I have to keep my composure, you know? And we're talking, and we're all professional employees. But then the great thing about being here and being with Prophetess is that, I was my sister, but being here is just, we are able to let the anointing of God flow, stay in our place, stay in our position, but be yielded vessels to what He wants to do. And I think that sometimes we lose that. We're so excited about the platform until God is not able to speak. You know, you pray so long, oh God, get me here, oh God, let me do that. But when we get there, we don't know what to do.
And you said something that was so important about just God allowing us to speak on certain levels and certain platforms and certain dimensions, and even just being on this talk show. This was not a preaching platform. This was an interview platform. This was speaking to so many people. And so we still had to know how to be calm, be poised, articulate very well. The anointing flowed, but allowed it to stay in a realm where we can still deliver, because everyone is not used to the charismatic flow. And so we talked about preparation. Tell us about that. How do you know when you're ready? Because you was like, if you can't come in certain platforms and do a good job or master it, you're not ready for it.
You're not ready. A lot of times,
talk to us about that.
A lot of times we try, and we did talk about that, a lot of times we try to put ourselves in the position where somebody else is. Like I've stood before tens of thousands of people, but you have preached before tens of thousands of people. So our platform may be different. We may end up at the same place. However, at the same time, if I'm not ready, I'm going to fumble the ball. And if you fumble, you're no good for the game. You're not good. So we have to get in the place where we're not trying to open the door for ourselves. We're not trying to step into somebody's platform. If somebody calls, and people do this all the time, if I'm your sister and I'm here to help you, and somebody calls you to preach, I'm a preacher. I'm a preacher all day long.
I'm a preacher all day long. All day long.
So if somebody calls you to preach, and I think, well, this is Prophetess, this is her platform, but I'm here. I'm going to try to get my dibs in. I'm going to do it.
You will miss.
I'm going to mess up. If I'm there to serve my sister and support her, that's what my job is at that moment.
Yeah.
And if I can do that well, then my time and my season will come. And that's what it's about.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about.
Absolutely.
You send it to me from my Facebook page.
I'm going to send it to you.
We're going to send it to you.
We're
This
going
is
to
Miss
send
Linda.
it to you.
You want to go on Periscope?
You want to come on Periscope and say hi to the people? This is
hi.
the station manager. She said no, she don't want to come and say hi. But I just wanted to bring this moment to you, Periscope fam, to let you know, be ready for the opportunity that God will present you. So many of us, you're so worried about when the opportunity is going to come. And that's God's job. You don't have to worry about when it's going to come. Just be ready for it. And when God sees that you're ready for it, then he will open the door. And so many of us are trying to prematurely step into places that we are not ready for. What you need to do is go back and allow God to groom you in the spirit, groom you in your emotions, groom you naturally, groom you physically, groom you in every area, because a lot of us are so immature in our spirit that we have a gift, but we don't have the character to step into certain
And
doors.
we talked about that, because if you haven't gone through the process for the position,
you
can't
processed.
keep the position.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you want a church that has 10,000 people, but you never clean the toilet, it ain't gonna work out for you. Because God does not anoint a pastor with people who will clean the toilet if the pastor will not clean the toilet. I'm sorry. That is the truth. I can't run a multi-million-dollar company if I don't know how to say yes and answer and be a secretary or open the door or do something. If you can't serve, you can't lead.
You can't do it. You can't do it. And I'm gonna leave with this. The Lord said to me years ago, I was praying to God about something, and the Lord said to me, he said, Nicole, do you want overnight or do you want longevity?
Wow.
And I said, God, I don't want overnight. I want longevity. He said, well, longevity takes time. Longevity takes process. Longevity takes breaking. Longevity takes maturing. And so when the Lord called me to full-time ministry 12 years ago, God began to mature me in so many areas of my life, and I'm still being matured. And so for me, what seems to be taking a little bit longer is not taking any longer, because why? God is building me to last.
And you know what? This is Prophetess Periscope. We're going to take it over. You know what the Lord told me not too long ago? He said to me, he said, there are so many people, because sometimes we get discouraged and we look at where people are and we know the life that they live. He said, what I need you to know is this. You have sown and you're going through the process. He said, when that platform comes for you to stand before thousands, you've already had enough training that you won't hurt yourself.
Training.
You won't embarrass yourself, and you won't embarrass me.
And embarrass the kingdom.
You have longevity.
And God, let me say this prophetically, hear me by the Spirit. God is not raising up nobody else that's going to embarrass the kingdom.
Nobody.
God is not going to do it. And that's why a lot of doors that seem to open quickly before, it seems a little bit longer now, because we're in a different season. We're in a different flow. God have a different mandate. There's a world out there that need the voice of the Lord to be authentic and for people to not misuse God. And so the doors and the platform that God is opening up now, it is not to bring embarrassment to the kingdom. So stay in the process. Stay in the process. Stay in prayer. Let God do it. Go before God. Be real with where you are and watch what God will do. This is Prophetess Nicole Armstrong's Periscope at the TBN studio in Mobile. Love you. God bless you. No,